everybody to SDGs Impact League champions. We call it one-on-one with the 2025 champions. And I think they are going to be amazing team and they are going to share a really, really deep insights with us. But as we look to dive in, and I know you guys, I'll be turning my camera on shortly. The world is failing to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals promise. 10 years down the line, only 17% of the SDGs are on track. 18 are on moderate progress, 30% are on marginal progress, 18% is on stagnation, and 17% are even moving backwards. So we ask ourselves, what is the problem? And what can we do to help solve this problem? So I'm joined by Elizabeth Waliuba, the director of Imarisha Usawa, who organized the Usawa Festival that delivered some amazing impact at the ground. And she got her team, Lydia, Evelyn, Justin, Mr. Olugata is joining in, Abenet is joining in. So we have like a really, really small house that is going to shed a little bit of light to us as we dive into this conversation. So let us get into it. Liz, I might just start with you because you are on there and I know you are trying to smile as well. So Liz, I just got one question for you. If the current trend persists, based on what's on the screen there, 590 million people will live in extreme poverty. And 10 years down the line again, only 17% of SDGs are on track. Now, what attracted you to the SDG Impact League as a challenge? And how even did you make it even here, now that we are talking about the league champions? What attracted you to the league and how did you make it here? And you are free to invite your team to also chime into that simple question that we have for you.
Thank you so much, Peter and Global Youth Forum for having us this night in Kenya. It could be afternoon somewhere else or the morning in another region. And I will say that it is a pleasure for us to be able to share our journey with the world, the journey that has really been transformative. So for me, I will say us getting here and us being worried about over 590 million people are still living in poverty. If we continue the trends that have been ongoing and also just looking at 10 years, 10 years is not just like a day. And we are talking about only 17% of SDGs being on track. So to your question, Peter, I will say that this journey, us being here, has been nothing short of transformative. When I look back from where we began as a team and getting into the SDG Impact League, why we are here today, I'll say that this has not just been a program, like any other program that you join and you go through the phases and through the processes. And at the end of the day, you're done and you're let go. It has been a journey of creating a movement. It has been a journey beyond the name Elizabeth. It has been a journey beyond the name Imarisha Usawa. So I will say that with our ambitions, with our questions of how can we get this 590 million, over 590 million people out of poverty, we were ambitious enough to localize the SDGs. We ask ourselves, how do we do it better or how do we do it differently? So we carried big dreams, I will say. If you look at my team that is here, they're big people with big names. So we had big dreams, and I could say that we were limited in different and really crucial aspects. Making it here has been a journey of resilience with constant learning from Global Youth Forum and its partners and also the affiliates of the program. And I will maybe just look back from how did we get here, over 10 years, just as Peter's mentioned, the global goals were brought to life, the SDGs. We have 17 SDGs. And these goals were here or were brought to, I believe it's to make the world a better place to live in and to also have a positive impact on the lives of the people. So 10 years into the implementation, we are still planning. I will say we were still planning and still looking at more agreements. And in 2024, we had the United Nations Civil Society Conference that was here to bring to life the inputs and also the recommendation of grassroots, especially the youth voices, to be able to work and also just look at how best do we implement action for us to make the world a better place for us. So through that, we had I believe over 2,000 participants during the United Nations Civil Society conference that was held in Nairobi. And through that, we came with inputs, we came with recommendations, and this was work that was being done ahead of the Summit of the Future that was to be held in New York, I believe in September, if I'm not wrong. So all this work was to be able to not just go out there and build, agreements and build actions for people, but it was to involve the people, as we have the mantra that says there's nothing for us without us. So the UN Civil Society Conference was here to bring the voice of the grassroots people, the civil societies that really work at the grassroots, and also the youth, for us to be able to have our inputs incorporated when we are planning for the future. And as we push forward, I saw this as a first-hand local action, however small maybe the contribution could be, but I will say that this will really contribute or just bring about the global commitments that really affect us as individuals. So for me today, I feel like this has really been impactful for not just my community, not just my institution, but the world at large, because from there we saw the impact coalitions be formed. And from our impact coalition, that is the youth and intergenerational, that was working around youth and intergenerational engagement, we had the Club 17 come in, that we were involved through Global Youth Forum. And the process of us getting into Club 17, us getting teams to work for the different or act for the different SDGs was a process that I will say has been informative, has been enlightening, and will also answer some of the questions that we are asking ourselves. Will we get these 590 million people out of poverty? Will we get to 100% achievement of the SDGs? So the process through Club 17, I will say, has really been informative in terms of what we need to do as governments, as change actors, as civil societies, and even the private partners, to see that we really do achieve what we are aiming at or what we are working at. I hope that answers your question, Peter, of how I feel about all this and our journey through Club 17.
Thank you. I think that is insightful. I'm probably one of the team members. I know sometimes they say the founders can put words, but if the beneficiary or a member of a program also justifies and just adds their input, that can always add more sight into it. So Lydia, do you want to chime in and confirm what Elizabeth just told us? She can't be even telling us lies, but I saw some of your photos jumping and also scoring balls and goals. So what do you have to add in relation to Club 17 and SDG Impact League? Dive in.
Thank you very much, Peter and the team. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining this session from. Yeah, so from what Waluba has said, I would say that she has not sugar-coated anything. She has just put it the way it was, because speaking from a beneficiary point of view as a volunteer, I would say that it has been a very transformative journey where I would say for the first time, we are moving from boardroom and we are able to get to the grassroots, to get really to interact with the people that we sit in boardroom to plan for, and they never get to learn what we were planning for. So it was also an eye-opening activity, because during the interaction with the grassroots beneficiaries, we also learned a lot about what they are not even aware of, because you realize that we are talking about SDGs, we are talking about policies, but most of these guys now that are supposed to bring the change, who are supposed to be the main beneficiaries, they are not even aware about all those stuff. So it was a fellowship both for the beneficiaries, for Imarisha Osawa, and also for individuals who participated entirely, because let me say, successfully participating in 13 matches, that was the first time I did that in my entire life. And every match, hey, made me rethink about my decision about why I am still participating. But because I am the change, there's no other person who is going to bring the change. It has to start with Lydia as a person. That's why I chose to study and continue to hang around so that we can rewrite this story, because it is possible. That is what you have done. And this is just the beginning of the... But you want these stories to be told from grassroots level. Thank you, and back to you, Peter.
All right. I think if I were you, I would be running. Like I would run. I'll just run 13 matches and then I'm like stuck there. I will run and go find where things are easy. But look, please, SDG Impact League and Impact League and Imarisha Usawa. Somebody I know is joining in and they are wondering, who is this Imarisha Usawa? Where was Imarisha Usawa before you joined Club 17 entering the Impact League? Where is it now? And where will it be, say, in the next 3 to 5 years? A really, really pregnant question, as they call it. So talk to us a bit about Imarisha Usawa. So somebody who is joining in can actually digest maybe your add on your vision, mission, and probably what inspired the dream or what you did. Dive right in.
Thank you so much, Peter, for that. I know we cannot have a Usawa Festival without a mention of Imarisha Usawa. We cannot have the Club 17 Team 5 without a mention of Imarisha Usawa, definitely. So yeah, it will be a pleasure to share a little bit about Imarisha Usawa. And I will really take pride in saying that Imarisha Usawa was in existence before Club 17 and the SDG Impact League. It existed as a passionate community initiative, a youth-led initiative that was here to advance empowerment of girls and women. You know, we worked in strengthening community systems, and we ensured that our girls and women had access to opportunities that allowed them to thrive in the best of our capacity. It sounded perfect then. If we could say that, because things were running, you know, as Lydia has told you, we were running, we were up and down doing everything. But what I would like to appreciate is that there has been change from who we were before, because previously I believe that we were operating traditionally, if there's something like that in terms of operation. We were mostly, if I compare who we are right now and how we are engaging with the communities and also building for the future, I believe that the change is because we are moving from just service delivery into now building actions and also empowering communities. And we like to say compowering communities, because we are working with them, we are building with them, you know. So previously we were about bringing programs to the community, you know. We thought we knew what the community needed. We were focused on just the delivery of services to the community, but it has been different since we got into Club 17, because not just the matches that we went through, but also the capacity building, you know, the training, the engagements that we've had with Global Youth Forum, and also the affiliates of Global Youth Forum, including the ICF training, and a number of partners that we've engaged with. So what the difference that I have seen currently is that, yes, we are still offering services to the communities, but it's different because right now we have a structured model of engaging the communities, especially engaging the youth. And right now we can say that we have developed a model that will enable us to consistently and constantly engage with the youth, mobilize them, nurture them in different aspects when we are talking about our thematic areas that are health, education, and also leadership for our girls and women. And we are able to connect their energies in terms of the global actions and global topics like the Sustainable Development Goals that we felt there was a gap in terms of awareness, knowledge, and also action. And this is not just impacting the communities, but also the real drivers, our government agencies and institutions, So currently we have a very strong model, I will say, that is bringing on board all partners, and by partners, we're also involving the beneficiaries because we are building with them. As I said earlier, there is nothing for us without us, whether we are the youth, whether we are the communities, whether we are the agencies who are leading change. So it is all inclusive, and it is better because we have seen what it has been able to do. Previously, as Imarisha Usawa, we had 2 programs, and I could say that one of the programs was Boresha Jamii, and that is inclined towards improving health access amongst communities, especially the youth and adolescent girls and young women. And one thing that has really been able to change from how we were engaging previously is now bringing on board the tools and the channels, better channels to engage the communities that we are targeting. We've brought on board the sports as an entry point for social change, sports as an entry point for action for primary healthcare and also universal health coverage. And we are partnering with different entities to see this come to life. Another thing I know I've already mentioned, but this is really crucial to mention for me, is engaging the youth as partners and not just beneficiaries, because we are building together with the youth. You cannot be able to speak of my needs and my vulnerabilities without me being involved in terms of letting you know, because I believe that I know myself better. So that is the one of the key areas that has come up from the SDG Impact League, and this was brought on board through the training that we undertook on human-centered design. So we are here building with the communities, and maybe last but not least is just about localization of action. For the longest time, even if you come to Kenya, we've been saying, and we've had narratives about Sirikal's idea, we are calling on help from above. But then how do we call on help from above when we know better how to tackle our issues? So through localization of action, mentorship, and also the community co-designing, we are believing that we are building better action plans, and also we are getting better responses for our local problems with the communities and us coming in as catalysts. So I will say that the league has really been great for us as Imarisha Usawa. Apart from just getting these models that we are building for action, we are also looking at having clear pathways for us to be able to engage, where we are getting aligned with the national and also international guidelines or action plans, including the Kenya Vision 2030, that is really much aligned to what we are doing. And internationally, we are looking at localization of SDGs and pact agreements like the Pact of the Future, that are here to build us as individuals and make the world a better place, as we continue saying. I'm putting it in question because we are living in the world, so we expect the world to be a better place. Yes, Peter, I don't know if I'm leaving something unanswered from your questions, but I would invite more questions if there's anything else that I've left out.
I think you must have covered all of it, but somebody's keen out there for 3 seconds. If they are to come and look for Imarisha Usawa, what will Imarisha Usawa look like in 2 years' time?
In 2 years' time, as I mentioned, currently we have a clear pathway on what we want to do. We're just not here to provide services. We are here to change the communities. We are here to impact the communities. We are here to impact girls and women. So I will say in 2-3 years, looking at the new lens of impact that we are building, we will really have transformed from just, working a community-based organization, even though we are not community-based, but I believe we are community-based because looking at our reach into a really, I will say transformed institution that brings on board different generations, brings on board different people of different capacities and key partners and players around the work that we do to be able to handle what we are doing. So in 2-3 years, if you come back to Imarisha Usawa, you'll get us I believe you'll be able to see the difference, not just in terms of what we are doing, but also the reach, the impact that we would have been able to create. Right now, we are building with the communities, as I've been able to mention, and what we are taking pride in is understanding what the people would want. We are no longer working on getting handouts out there, but building solutions that are sustainable for the communities. So yes, we are building towards sustainability, and we would like to be able to showcase what we've been able to build as Imarisha Usawa.
All right. Now, Lisa, I know you and your team, and I see Mr. Olungata also with his hat over there, smiling at the crowd, and you are demonstrating your things on there. And I know you are really, really active as a team leader for capacity building during the Inter-County Football for the Goals Championship. So that's like an inspiration of the SDG Impact League, because we wanted to organize it in such a way. Imagine if all entities work towards the attainment of SDGs, just like a football match is always played. How will that look like? Hence the league. So by you getting really, really active, and as where I sit, and probably the role I hold under Global Youth Forum, I know how much you supported that initiative. So they say there is no need to reinvent a wheel where there is already one that you can just probably learn from and pick from. So if we look, we are starting with this tournament and how then it did just trigger your thinking as we head now to Usawa Festival. How did Inter-County Football for the Goals Championship impact you as a person and probably as a team towards now what you are now building into the future?
This is really beautiful, Peter, because definitely Inter-County Football for the Goals, one of the best things that ever happened to us as a team and also as an organization. But I have my team here who also participated during the event. You've mentioned of Lydia, you've mentioned of Wattons, who were part of the team that championed capacity building. So it will be interesting to hear from them before maybe I share my thoughts, if maybe they can unmute and just share the experience. Lydia, I know you're here.
Why not? We can go to Mr. Olungata or Lydia to chime in. Why not? Lydia, go for it, or Mr. Olungata, if you are able. Any person, put a hand up and just come on camera. Then we bring you on stage so you share things.
Hi, Peter, I can go for it.
Yeah,
and
go for it.
Unfortunately, Marvin, yes.
Yeah, keep going.
Yes, now you imagine, just like you have shared that we, as Imarisha Usawa, Balance 360, we were not starting from fresh. And the reason why that happened is because we had mentors who are ahead of us. And the mentors that I'm referring to in this aspect is us participating in this inter-county football for partnership. Because during that time, I can see how active the boys, the participants, and also the facilitators were. This is one platform that worked as a tool for us as Imarisha Usawa to just get to learn what we expect even in our planning. And apart from that, I'll say that it was a learning space for us, because during this time, we also got an opportunity to demonstrate our expertise, because these are the boys that were people from different places, the more you get to learn. So during this space, we were able to train or to capacity build them on different components, such as personal branding, because these boys and girls having have come from grassroots. Men didn't even were not even aware about the personal brand and what that meant to their branding as football clubs. Feasibility now as we speak about it, because it could be play very well, but they are doing that at village level, and they want to be known to be seen by Arambe Arsenal. How are they going to get to that space where people will be able to see what their capability as individuals and also as clubs? We also got an opportunity to do what we do at our best, because we are talking about leadership development. What are the gaps? How these are talents, but again, talents need to be monetized, because at the end of the day, these participants have bills to pay. Their family, they not always be telling their families, we just went and we came back and we have nothing, They have to demonstrate at some point that they are able to get something to be able to also fund their basic needs, because that is very important. And apart from that, we are also looking at having given them space to get to know the both local and also international resources that are there. We are talking about accessibility of opportunity. Such opportunities comes. So for me as an individual, that was very eye-opening session, because be a gender equality champion for real, this one was now bringing the both genders on board, and we were listening to how can we work together. And I really want to appreciate the organizer, because this opportunity, we came in not just like not as competitors, but as collaborators. 17, which speaks about partnership for goals, because if we are all able to implement that, that will mean that we'll have sustainable projects across the world. That is all what we need. We are not competitors, we are collaborators, and resources together. Resources in this aspect does not mean money. It actually means Lydia can facilitate. So can Lydia show up and come and support? It means Liz can do this. She's a good organizer. Can she come and do this? And that is what I saw on that particular day. So thank you very much. Because we are having a team here, I know they will continue putting some fresh onto what I've talked about. Thank you, and back to you, Peter.
Lydia, you remind me a bit about the dance. I saw you dance a bit about things at the championship. And that you are mobilizing us to dance. So well done. And what you brought up there, for me, if people speak to me, I'm always very competitive. And Liz knows, and Liz as well is very competitive. But imagine if we all leave all our competitiveness and look at what Liz did to football for the World Championship. She helped us mobilize teams. She sponsored a team. She was there leading until she fell sick. But she was like, we got to make this one happen, you see? So you can imagine what can happen if people just collaborate like that. So Liz, in less than a minute, what were your views? Like, you just being part of intercounty football for the goals that I know inspired the model for SDGs Impact League. Just your quick snapshot of how that went. Thank you, Lydia, for sharing your insights.
You're giving me a minute, Peter, but with the fun that we had, maybe I will take another one more minute because we really had fun.
Yeah.
And I would like to also just emphasize and retaliate on Lydia's input about power of collaboration, because from that, we were able to not only bring our insights and also our, our capacity building capabilities, but we came and learned. One thing, when you asked the question, I was just thinking through what is the best thing that I learned from there is about us being prepared mentally. You've spoken about me getting sick. Yes, Peter, I got sick because of the engagement, because of how intense the activities were. So yes, it prepared us mentally as a team for what we were going to do in Bungoma. And when we are talking about service delivery, when we are talking about events planning, nobody really thinks about the person behind the event. So our mental awareness was really great by the time we were going to Imarisha, to the Usawa festival. Sorry, I'm so used to Imarisha Usawa, and also our well-being. So those are things that maybe people would overlook when we are looking at the leaders ahead of us. And then one thing that I would also like to appreciate about the event and what it did to us is just how to package for people. When we were looking at, or when we were engaging with the teams, we got to realize and got to know what the youth really want and how to package maybe events or interventions for them. So when we were going to the Usawa Festival, we were borrowing from the knowledge and ideas that we got from the teams that we engaged in at the Intercounty Football for the Goals event in Nairobi. And we are going there with the knowledge that these were grassroots teams, and we are going to involve other grassroots teams and communities. So it was just an opportunity that we took to learn and to also prepare ourselves best. So thank you so much for that opportunity, Peter, and we do not take it for granted for sure.
Oh, right. Most welcome, Liz. Now, people are out there, and this is a leading up to what you've just shared, Liz. Now, after the Intercounty Football for the Goals, I'm told you took the dance again to Bungoma. And now I'm told that the dance in Bungoma was overwhelming, and I was following all this, and I'm like, oh, I might have missed. I know Justin was there and a few other people. Now, somebody's listening and they're wondering, what inspired Usawa Festival? What is the mission and vision behind it? What is the energy? Like, for me, I see this energy, and again, I want to run. I'm always threatened by people with energy like you. And talk to us about Imarisha Usawa.
Thank you, Peter. You should be encouraged about our energy, because we are bringing the energy, we are bringing the fun. When you see Lydia, you see Waluba, you see Kevin, you see Watton, trust me, there is energy and there is fun. And I know you love fun, Peter, so you shouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
So for Usawa Festival, I believe, and I will say that Usawa Festival was really born out of our lived experiences as individuals, and also the powerful realization that if we want to change how things are done, if we want to empower our girls and our women, we must meet them at the places they feel safest. We must meet them at the places where they are physically okay, they're emotionally okay, and they are also socially okay, where they'll be able to engage with us, they'll be able to share with us the goods and the cons, So basically that's what we did, because as we mentioned earlier, through our engagements, we got to learn about design-centered thinking. And here it's all about building with the communities. So we knew what we wanted to do, but then the how are we going to do it? We had to come from the communities. So through our engagements with the different stakeholders and also the perceived beneficiaries, we were able to come up with the Usawa Festival. And this was just to answer to the needs and the vulnerabilities of our community. You look at years back when Imarisha Usawa was born, it was here to handle issues on gender-based violence for our communities in Bungoma. It was here to handle issues on school dropouts that was related to gender-based violence. It was here to handle issues on our women being involved and taking part in leadership opportunities at different spaces. So looking at that, we are here asking Imarisha Usawa, what are you going to do and how are you going to do? And that is how Usawa Festival was actually bred, through community engagements with communities in Bungoma, the county, the CSOs in Bungoma, and looking at the challenges that our girls and women were facing at grassroots, limited access to SRH information. What would Imarisha Usawa do and how best will it do it? The barriers to leadership for our girls and women. So for us, I think what stood out was the community dialogues that we were able to engage with the communities, the school visits, the youth conversations that we carried before us just settling on this as our channel of engagement for the community. And I will say that, as I mentioned earlier, our girls and also the youth, me being amongst them, I will thrive best in a place where I feel safe and valued. I played basketball in primary school, in high school, and also in campus. And I will say that was the safest place I ever felt. Anytime I went on the court, I would just employment journey. How important can be, the stresses that we have to undertake, So the place that I would best release my stresses was at the court. And talking to the youth also, sports was a place where, or the sport facilities were places where they really felt comfortable, and also felt that if you listen to some of the testimonials they were giving, that that the sports has created a place for them to build families, the sports families. These are the people they play with. Sports has been able to bring back their minds to class, in terms of education. So we asked ourselves, what best place to meet them other than the place where they feel most comfortable? And from this realization came the vision to blend sports, leadership, advocacy, and community engagement, as well as celebration of the talents, and also building their talents into a powerful movement of Usawa Festival that I know Peter has been able to show us. And the energy that this created was more than just, a program, more than just the 2 days event. It is the impact that has been able to see us get to be the top of the SDG Impact League, where we are utilizing the sports as an avenue to learn, to lead, and to also advocate for us as girls and women, for our rights, and also for our needs. So that is basically how Usawa Festival was bred. And if I would say maybe in a snapshot, the vision is basically to empower our young girls and women by providing a safe space and inclusive space, and also transformative spaces for them to be able to integrate their needs. And this is in terms of participation in sports, also education, leadership, and as well as just taking care of their well-being and health. When we are talking of health and well-being, we are here looking at their mental well-being, and also their access to services that we are able to provide as an entity through partnership and collaboration with the different stakeholders. So we have a very big vision as Imarisha Usawa and as Usawa Festival key players who are here in this meeting today. We are looking at it not just being a 2 days or 1 day event. We are getting away from the moments, but we are building a place where we are looking at us institutionalizing Imarisha Usawa Festival being an annual event, and not just an annual event, but being a program that can be utilized and also bred for mentorship. We are here looking at the Sauti za Usawa, which is our name, but it's also, we've turned it into a hub, I will say an intergenerational hub that is bringing on board different generations to be able to tackle issues as they come, So we are institutionalizing Sauti za Usawa as well as the Usawa Festival, where we are building community hubs, and we're also building school-based hubs. So far, we've been able to create at least 7 school hubs that are functional and are ongoing, just tackling on the different issues that are being raised whenever the girls meet. And they are bringing on board different actors. We are bringing on board the government institutions. We are bringing on board civil societies. We are bringing on board community, the business community, the private actors, as well as our parents, because we say charity begins at home. So we cannot build without knowing what the family thinks about what we are creating. So we are here thinking about the future. We are here to build a model that will be recognized, to build women as leaders, to build a model that is girl-led or women-led. And we are here not just to bring girls as beneficiaries, but also as partners, to be able to participate, to be able to design, and to be able to lead change in our communities. We are also looking at, if you look at Imarisha Usawa, it is designed to utilize sports as an entry point. But we are here to build sports not just as an entry point, because that will be like a by the way. We're here to create a hub that will be able to localize action for sustainable development goals, and also action for any emerging issue that affects our girls and women and just the youth at large. So I will say that as we are building, we have goals and objectives that go beyond today and tomorrow. We are looking at 5 years from now. We are looking at 10 years from now. And we'd like to build a model that will be adopted across the country, not just for Bungoma County. Thank you, Peter.
All right. It reminded me a little bit of a story, but that story we will get to it in another day. But all I do know, I see, I smell, and I can feel the basketball passion in you. Probably that's the driving force and the energy and stuff. I know Lydia or Evelyn or whoever is joining, you put your things on the chat so we can catch up with them. I know we are just running on time over here. But look, Liz, 18 teams entered this SDG Impact League, and only two teams, that was two NUPADs and Balance 360, that made it to the end. So initially, and every single time we were talking and we were asking, why only 17% when you see a lot of organizations out there doing all sorts of things, but we are only stuck at 17. So when we went to this conference and people were talking and 21 impact coalitions were formed, after that, people were joining all these things, and there was fire within that period of time. And we are almost here like now, almost 2 years now, almost 2 years, Liz. So for that week, the civil society conference was on fire, people were on fire, and then you go down 2 months and then it fades off. And then you hear another conference, and then you hear another conference, and then you hear another conference. So based on your experience, and I know some of your team are also joining in, if you were to relook back and just look at what you did for now, it must have run for over 1 year. Why do you think only 17% of SDGs are on track? We could go for 2 to 3 reasons, and then you can give probably a possible solution that can help people address these SDGs. To you, Liz.
Wow. That is amazing, because when I was sharing about our journey as a team and also the Club 17 journey, I told you about the lessons that we garnered through the journey. I will say we have so much noise going on. Everybody's making noise. People are making so much noise. But before I dive in and give my input, I would also like to invite our team. Maybe if they can share their experience through the league. What did they notice to be the reason as to why the 17% of achievement on SDGs? If someone can just unmute and go, because I know the lessons are so many. We've been laughing about it all through in our groups and in our meetings. So yeah.
Yeah, let's get Evelyn. Evelyn, chime in. Lydia, then you can join in as well. Evelyn, chime in.
Here I am chiming in. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all well from wherever it is that you're joining us. So, it's it's really funny because it helps me, Peter, what you're asking, it helps me reflect on my experience first joining the SDG Impact League. You know, when Waluba was looking for people that can share her vision and can share the kind of passion that she was really trying to, the kind of bigger picture she was trying to help us see. And I think one thing that through my experience that I have learned is, you know, for us young people, and not just us young people, I think for people who are trying to be in the space of creating change, we really love the idea of youth-led change, right? We love the idea of, you know, seeing yourself in that poster, the SDG team, team number 5. You know, we've seen our pictures in the team that but you know, you're happy, you're sharing the post because you're like, yes, I am part of a team that is trying to bring change. We love that idea, you know, attending that fellowship, speaking up, having that amazing call to action, you know, umejipanga, you've really planned yourself well, you have your words written. And yes, that is the photo I'm talking about. This photo is going all around on LinkedIn, you're posting it on your WhatsApp. And that is the idea that I am bringing change. But when it comes to us showing up, staying engaged, and following through, that is when the energy drops. We're expecting this change to happen in at least, you know, 2 months of me joining in, that energy. And I think at some point we've learned of that concept. You know, you're building it. You can already see it happening, but when it comes to the groundwork, us as young people trying to stay engaged, it comes to you showing up. All those 13 matches, week after week, Peter is on your case. You know, the team is on your case. You're supposed to have done the first match. If you've not finished your match, you're out of the team. So that aspect of us not having commitment, I believe, is a challenge that we have really experienced throughout this session. Look, we only remained with two Nupas and Balance 360. So what does this tell us? This tells us that sometimes we can have big ideas, but ideas cannot move from planning commitment. You can have the best idea, but this idea cannot move forward if you do not have commitment. It cannot move from the stages of planning. You might even plan, yes, but you committing throughout implementation and seeing how it's tough. And on the other aspect that I'm going to talk about, like funding. So that lack of commitment, we like the idea of showing up, but when you really learn what it takes to show up, what it takes to be engaged, what it takes to follow through, that is where a lot of us, we see that the energy drops, and we get to be left with only two teams that are on the running lead to try and create change. I think something else also that we've also experienced, I believe, during the whole aspect of us planning the Usawa Festival, trying to make sure the kind of vision we have comes out and, you know, it becomes successful, is funding, you know, funding for youth and women-led organizations. And I know we talk about funding, and there's a lot of talk about people supporting, but the resources really actually hardly reach us, you know. A lot of times we've operated on passion, volunteerism, you know, as small and very unpredictable contributions. So this makes it really hard even for young and youth and women-led organizations to plan for long-term scale programs. We have a vision for the Usawa Festival being annual, right? And when it comes to the amount of resources that goes to planning such an impactful activity, or even just in making sure it's an annual thing, there's a lot of resource that actually goes into it. And we cannot just operate on passion, volunteerism, and unpredictable contributions alone. We really have to face the fact that we do need funding for us to be able to scale programs that can be very impactful and can be very sustainable. So that, I think, is something that I can easily mention. If you'd like for me to talk about one thing that we can be able to, you know, we're bringing problems, let's have solutions to these problems. I think something that we can do is localizing actions. Waluba has talked about localizing actions and us trying to build a hub with the basketball facility, not being just a sports center. So this hub can help us do more a lot of localizing these actions, small, consistent, targeted interventions that, you know, when scaled can become national impact. Like the Usawa Festival, you know, you can see the pictures, you'd feel this is something small for some people, but it is things like the Usawa Festival that can really being done consistent and being targeted, that can be scaled to become a national impact. And what do I mean by localizing actions? We can leverage on community sports programs. Our communities have so many leagues, so many small sports programs. How do we leverage on these community sports programs to try and localize our actions? Local festivals in the community. We have so many local festivals in our community and different dialogues, like the Usawa Festival. How can we be able to leverage these local actions? And even grassroots advocacy. You know, even the Usawa Festival, there's a point where we could hear girls speaking for themselves and advocating and being able to express the things that bodily being able to bodily express things that affect them. You know, it did not take for them to be in a space, in the UN space, for them to be able to bodily articulate what their experiences and the things that affect them. So leveraging on those grassroots advocacy, these girls are young, but these girls that you're seeing on that pitch, they had a voice and they were able to speak and be able to boldly express the things that affect them through the panels that they were even speaking. And people were awed, yes, but it comes to us realizing that we have voices in this community, these girls in Bungoma that some people don't even know can be able to really speak and voice out the issues that affect them and even advocate for themselves, just given the opportunity, and us understanding as organizations and stakeholders, how can we easily leverage on these people in the community to bring about impact and change. Thank you so much.
I think that is detailed, Liz. Thank you, Evelyn, for that deeply. Like, we have people doing the job on the ground, but then we have people eating the money in the boardroom. Liz, do you want to chime in with your one for the next 1 minute as we near the end of it all?
I don't know what more I can say. I believe Evelyn has really been exhaustive, but I could add on it to just say that there is need for collaboration because we have so many actors and we are working on tackling the same problems, same issues. We are working in the same community. So how can we build collaborative spaces and how can we partner and work together to ensure that these collective actions for achievement of sustainable development goals? You know, we don't have to be mean. We are sharing the same beneficiaries. We can also share resources. Yes, thank you, Peter.
Please look, in 2019, I visited must be 8 grassroots secondary schools in my village. And I spoke to 948 young people. Only 2 of them could tell me what the meaning of SDG was. But here you are with people who have access to internet, who have access to, like, very, very literate. But you see, I know you mentioned a little bit about noise, and you see these same people who know where to find information are being put in a room, and they're the same people who now again are being taught about the SDGs, and they're the same people who are getting funding. So you are like, my friend, who is fooling who here? Let's get to this other one.
The beneficiary.
Yeah, the beneficiaries. It's like, it's just chaos. But I know the UN system is working on reimagining the UN 2.0, like 2.0, getting new system and strategies to ensure that the grassroots people are like solidly supported. So Lisa, I thought this one is exciting. I was looking at it when I was designing all this work. Somebody comes and meets you today, okay? And this person meeting you today, they are meeting you before you know the SDG ImPACT League, okay? That one, you are still green, you are still new, and you don't know about the Club 17 and the SDG ImPACT League. And then they ask you this simple question. You have 2 options. You can only choose one. And this time, it is before you know the SDG ImPACT League or Club 17. And then you will answer it now that you know SDG ImPACT League. I have 500,000 Kenya shillings. I want to give you those 2 things. either 500,000 Kenya shillings, or I'm giving you the SDG Impact League Fellowship. Which one will you take? And the first response will be, before you know SDG Impact League, you are just seeing that and you are seeing the money and you are seeing the fellowship. What will you take and why?
Wow. We all love money, don't we?
Yeah.
Maybe let me hear from my team. Just one statement. Will you take money or fellowship? Lydia, money or fellowship? It's the money or box. Yeah?
You are really trying me. Definitely, if I had not gone through the fellowship, I'll take money. But now I'll take fellowship because I know how transformative that is.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Money.
Okay.
That is money. Evelyn, money or box?
Money.
That is before or
Moving to
after,
the
Evelyn?
fellowship,
Evelyn,
definitely
will
money.
you go
Not
for
thinking
money
twice.
before fellowship
Yeah?
or after? You have to specify that.
Before fellowship.
Okay.
Before, please, before fellowship.
Wow.
Okay. Please,
Now,
now to you. And
Peter,
I
here
want
I
you to
am.
just be honest before and after. And be brief
Let me
on this one.
I would like to be brief, but let me tell you a little bit of a story.
Yeah.
And this story led to us being here today. And I know I've mentioned this before with you. I was working for Imarisha Usawa before I came into the SDG Impact League. And with our systems and our traditional ways of work, it was a little bit boring for me because I didn't have a challenge. I didn't know what next. And probably I just didn't have the best model with me at that time. So before, I needed something that will challenge me being the person that I am. I needed something that I would need something that will give me more insights. I will need something that will get me out of my comfort zone. I would need something that will build my networks because I believe in power of networking and collaboration. And I believe that at that time, I would also need something that would get me out there. So one thing for sure, I will still choose the fellowship because I know 500,000 shillings, having 500,000 shillings, and the knowledge that I will get in a fellowship, the networks that I will build in a fellowship, will get me more than 500,000 Kenyan shillings. It will get me to understand more that I would enable me get this 500,000 Kenyan shillings. So Peter, if I would have been offered this before Club 17, I believe I would have still gone for the fellowship because of what I wanted beyond the money. What I had planned for my community was more than that 500 Kenyan shillings could solve, because I believe that, if you give, money is very weird and tricky, Peter. It will come in here and it will leave without you knowing how you spent it. And I've engaged with money and I know what money can create. So I will still go for the fellowship because of what it has developed in us. It has taught us so much on human design, centered thinking, and also building with the communities. It has been able to show us about effective ways of resource mobilization. Everybody's talking about money, what 500 shillings can be able to do, but how do you get these 500 shillings? It has been able to get us coaching beyond our programs. The ICF coaching not only built my capacity as a leader to be able to lead our festival, but me as an individual. It has been able to bring out some sort of awareness that I wasn't previously aware about myself. And it has built me as a better leader to be able to not just push our initiatives, but to also engage with people at a personal level. So Peter, before I would still have taken the fellowship, but right now, amazingly and weirdly, I'm going the opposite direction. I'll take the 500 Kenyan shillings because I know where best it will suit, how I'll be able to invest it, how I'll be able to engage the people to utilize this 500 Kenyan shillings. So I will do the opposite. I would have still done the opposite for sure. Thank you.
There we go. So my friend, if you are watching this one, please now give Liz the 500,000 because she now knows where the 500,000 will go. Before then, she was just everywhere trying to mess around, causing chaos. But basically, why that question is, I go out and when we do, you are like a classic example, Liz, to be honest. when people come and they are asking, what is in this tournament for us? And I think going forward, we now have a story that we can always stand out and say, you want to go to Marisha Usawa and speak to them on what is in it for you? So we will be able to champion the work you do, because we've done this for a few years now. And you coming and just playing, nobody coerced you and nobody pushed you. You pushed yourself to do this stuff. And that made it even more interesting and exciting. So I think we now have a model that when people come and say, what is in it for us? Please go and speak to Imarisha Usawa under Usawa Festival and just see what they do. So we will champion for what you do. And I think we will continue to collaborate based now on what you've done. But now what people really need to know, before people give you the money, they want to know, do you have the structures or the muscles to handle the money? The money, I think it is always there, but people have high appetite for that money, even before they know what they are looking to do with it. So I know as we almost come to the end of it, always there is a call to action. Now, people are looking forward to what Usawa Festival might bring in, say, 2026, 2027, or many years. And they are wondering how best can they even chime in, support, just like how can they get into Usawa Festival and Imarisha Usawa so that you can probably scale your impact to the next level. What would you tell somebody? What would your call to action be?
Thank you so much, Peter, for that question. I would also just invite our team, because they know our needs, they know our vision and where we want to be in the future. Maybe if our team could also just chime in and share what their call to action will be as we look forward to the Usawa Festival 2026 and the future. We could start with Eve and then Lydia.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for passing that. For us, Peter, our call to action, and to everyone who is listening, is we want support to develop an inclusive basketball facility that will not only serve as a sports center, but we can be able to utilize it for capacity building and the development of girls. Elizabeth has talked about us wanting a place where sports can meet mentorship, it can meet safety, it can meet leadership, it can meet healing, it can meet collaboration, and it can be able to create a hub for dialogues. So this is what our call to action really looks like, because us creating this facility doesn't just solve gender equality. For us, it also links to good health and well-being. It also links to quality education, and it links to us, creating such a space where we can be able to empower JWs and collaborate with other partners in bringing out the impact that we really want.
Thank you so much, Eve. I think Eve read my mind. I don't know if Lydia has anything to add to that.
No, Eva is just very clear about our long-term goal that we have. So we are just inviting well-wishers, partners to support us, as well as if 500 $500,000 is ready, we can have it so that we can take care of the immediate needs of our girls, because as schools open in January, they need support. Right now they are home, they need sanitary towels. Young mothers need support to access care, because we still have facilities that does not have commodities. So for the short term, we are ready for any form of support which can help the girls access basic services. And for the long term, should you be having that 10 million, should you be having your $100, we are ready for it, so that you can jumpstart and ensure that the girls have a universal place to meet and have fun. Imagine 2 months, girls are home. That means they would have had fun enough that when they are going back in January, they're just speaking about how wonderful the whole day was, because they are holistically empowered. So thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I believe my team has really spoken, Peter, about our vision and our call to action. I will say that we are here to build a society where every girl is self-confident, educated, and also empowered, and they can be able to advocate for their needs and vulnerabilities, and they are able to be given an environment that will help them attain or reach their full potential. So for us, we're utilizing sports, especially basketball, as a channel to achieve these needs and to be able to empower our girls. What we are asking for is for you out there to involve us as girls, to involve us as the youth, to involve us as the women. You have seen evidently that when we young people are given the opportunity, we are able to deliver. We are here to support the community. We are here to build with the communities. And what we are asking for is for you to give us that basketball institution that will be able to institutionalize Usawa Festival, that will be able to build capacity of our women to be the leaders of tomorrow, and tomorrow is today, that we will be able to provide services that are needed by our girls and women, and we'll be able to create a safe and really thriving environment for our girls and women. Peter, I don't think there's much to say other than just build with us and support us to be able to achieve this vision that we have for our girls and women. Thank you.
For us, exactly. But first, let me just acknowledge that you guys have a dream, and you got my full support as an individual on behalf of Global Youth Forum. I wouldn't be doing all this stuff if I did not believe in what you guys are doing. And that's why we are having a billion signature ball. That billion signature ball is going to establish a billion signature dollar fund that people like you, people who we can verify that are not just making noise. People are going out there and doing real stuff and genuinely are driving the force, can apply for this grant, can empower the girls, and deliver real impact that can be measured. So these episodes will be very special in terms of mobilizing people. And when we set our platform like really, really solid, you guys will have a really, really solid grant that it is purely based on people who deserve. And that is what excites me. And when we all did all this challenge and you guys made it to the end, you just don't know how proud I am. I know it was tough, just like it was tough for you. It was tough for me and the people we led it with. It was really, really tough, to be honest. So with that, my friends, I have to say thank you all for all the work you've done and continue to do. I'm glad you've raised the bar really, really high. I'm looking forward to who will be the next champion and seeing how that will go. But to be honest, congratulations and well done. And then this starts a new phase for us going forward to see how our festival can be taken to the next level. So with that, I have to say, my friends, deeply appreciate you guys for all you do. And I hope that we can connect and do more in the future. With that, I say thank you. And I definitely look forward to engaging more if you guys see what I mean. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for the support we've always received from Global Youth Forum. We appreciate it.
All right.